Cameron Chardukian here with the Daily Developer Show. This is the show where we talk every single day about how you can become a better developer and how to optimize your lifestyle as a developer. And actually, I've been working as a developer now for about 1 month, and given that that is the case, I thought that I'd go and talk with you about some of the things that I wasn't necessarily super surprised about, but that I didn't really have in mind before I got started. And I know it's a little bit noisy. They're doing construction outside, and I got the fan on, but I just got home from a long day. I need to air the apartment out. Anyway, let's get to it. Number one thing that I didn't really think that much about going into my first development job was the concept of side skills. I kind of just thought, you know what, I'm going to be a coding whiz, and that's all you need, right? Just and then you're good. But actually what I found out is a lot of these side skills were very important, but that you may not think about before your first developer job. Things like QA, which is, I believe it stands for quality assurance. Please, if somebody knowledgeable is watching this, please correct me in the comments. I believe that's quality assurance, which is basically they're people that will, when you develop something, they'll test it to make sure that what you produced performs in the way it should and looks the way it should. So being able to work with them, I never really thought about that before I got started. Being able to write your own tests, or at least being able to write code that can pass other people's tests. Having to communicate with clients, which is something I haven't personally done yet, but I've heard the Skype calls. Requirement communication, making sure that what you build is actually, you're not making assumptions and you're building exactly what needs to be built. Be sure to ask lots of questions, and just general soft skills. That's very important. Now, another thing, number two, that I think is very important, but that I didn't really think about that much, is that relationships as a new developer, they are just as important as your work. And probably as a new developer, they may even be more important than your work. Here's what I mean. When you're new, I think as a developer at almost any new job, but especially at your first job, there's going to be so much you don't know. Now, given that that is the case, being able to have coworkers or a team that will support you, they will answer your questions, they will make sure that you understand the things you need to understand, that is so key. But I said relationships are important. Yeah, it's key that they are going to be able to support you in that way. But that also means that thinking more proactively and not just hoping that they help you there's a lot of little stuff you can do to make it more likely that people will want to support you. So for example, I'm actually kind of bad about this, but you could go out to lunch with your coworkers, you could go to some social events, to a happy hour, things like that. That will allow you to connect with them outside of work. Because let's be honest, as the new developer, your value in that environment is probably not so high. I know that when I'm at the office, I'm probably not the coolest cat because my skills are just they're really not where they need to be yet. But if I met these same people outside of work and outside of the world of coding, they'd be like, oh dude, you've been to a lot of countries, you speak several languages, you can do some cool juggling stuff, you're a YouTuber. So, I'm not bragging at all. I don't think, oh no, I'm cool, no. I think I'm just a normal person. Or maybe not normal, but you get the gist of it. The point for you is, if you have the opportunity to connect with your coworkers, especially in an environment where you're going to be kind of like on more like a even footing with them, that could be very beneficial in strengthening your relationship. Or you could do little favors for them, like you could crack jokes, be sure not to overdo that. You could, buy some little gifts. You get it, hopefully. I don't know why I'm so humorous today. I'm making everything's funny. Maybe I've been too tired. Getting a little weird now. Here's another thing, number 3. I think we're on number 3. When you're working in a professional environment, the size of the projects is probably going to be a lot bigger than what you're accustomed to, and not only do you have to build code that is functional, meaning it works, but you also, now that you're not working on personal projects, but you're actually working on something that's going to go into production, that's going to be used by clients or by other businesses, now what you have to focus on is building applications or writing code that is scalable, easily maintainable, and that is clean so that both yourself in the future and other developers can read your code, and code that is performing well, which basically means that you're not doing something like duplicating CSS rules unnecessarily, or you're not, for example, in React, maybe you're trying to avoid re-rendering things more often than they need to be re-rendered. So that's another thing to consider. Here we go, number 4. I think we're on number 4, but just go with me if we're on the wrong number. Taking care of your body is super important. I can tell you right now that after 3 days of 10 hours each, my back is pretty sore, my neck, I gotta stretch that out. So what I would recommend you do at the beginning, because at the beginning you're probably going to have to put in some extra hours to, get up to speed. To avoid having your neck or back hurt, there's some different things you can do. First, you can try to practice better posture. You can also, if possible, take every hour or so, walk to the bathroom or go get some water, or just check in with a coworker. That will get you out of your seat, and even if you can just get out of your seat for 5 minutes, or just even 2 or 3 minutes out of every hour, that'll be a lot better for you than just sitting like this for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours in a row. So yeah, take care of your body, and whatever you do, as a new developer, do not go to work hungover or even on low sleep. I had one day at work where I wasn't even like super low on sleep. I was like 6 or 7 hours of sleep rather than the normal 8 or 9. And that was one of the most painful days of my life, legitimately. Like working with Redux Saga for one of the first times and being like so tired I have like a headache. Oh, my friend, that was a long day. So I recommend avoiding that if you can. Finally, so also, if possible, you want to get some exercise, go walk after work. Go for a walk. Do some yoga. Stretch your body out. Also, I know there's a lot of people that are developers that are into gaming. I'm not super into gaming. I'll play a game every once in a while. But if that is you, I'd recommend at least for the first 1, 2, 3, 4 months, try to ease up on the gaming a little bit. Because, again, computers like this, and then you're either playing the game on your computer or you're playing on your Xbox, you're still in kind of the same position. And especially if you're sitting, you don't want to be sitting for 12 hours a day. Sitting for 8 or 9 hours a day is enough. You don't want to be sitting for 12, 14, 15 hours a day. So try to avoid hobbies where you're like completely stationary, at least for your first couple months as a developer. And you can get a massage too. That could help you. Finally, number 5. The last thing if I could give advice to myself 1 month ago, or if you are going into this with a lot of the same assumptions that I did, some advice that I'd like to give to you is that it's important to be able to deal emotionally with both the highs and lows as a developer. So there's going to be some days in your first couple weeks, your first month, your first 2 months, where you're just feeling completely lost. They're telling you about some new tool, they're telling you about a new concept. They might even be telling you about something that you thought you knew, but you actually don't. And you try to explain something, and it'll feel like every single question that they ask you, or every single task that they assign to you, you can't get anything right. You try to offer them explanations, they're like, sorry, no. You try to do the task, you get bug after bug, error after error after error, and it's easy to get pretty down on yourself. Actually, today, now I'm recording a video because I'm on kind of like the upswing, but yesterday and the day before that, I was actually feeling really bad about myself because many of my team members were trying to help me learn and complete these tasks, but these tasks were taking way longer than they should have. I don't know if I should put that label, because as a new developer, things, you're not going to be able, generally speaking, be able to perform tasks as fast as the more experienced developers, so you're not going to be able to meet their time estimates. But basically, the way I felt like I was not performing to the level I needed to perform at. And I'm still not super confident, but at the last couple days, I felt like I felt useless. But today, I finally, I was doing some work with Redux and React, and I built a function by myself that would, use Redux to change the state, and I would use Saga to dispatch an action that would change the state, and that would go to the server, and blah, 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 blah. And you know what? If I was talking to myself a month ago, I'd be like, what is Saga? And if you feel that way, that's irrelevant. The point is, when you're feeling as a new developer like, dude, I just feel so lost, I don't understand anything, I don't know if I'm made for this. Well, I think everybody feels that way, and actually I'd be more concerned if you didn't feel that way. Because if you don't, that means you're probably overconfident, and anybody that does not feel insecure about their abilities as a developer at some point, that probably means that they're not accurately assessing their own abilities. They probably think that they're better at coding than they actually are. But when you feel like, I don't know anything, it's okay to feel a little bit down, but don't get overly stressed. Don't hate yourself for being where you are at. It's the beginning of your journey, so it's completely natural to feel kind of lost. By the same token, when you achieve something, when you make your first pull request, when a coworker asks you a question that they don't know, and it's the first time you're able to answer their question, or the first time you're able to build something completely by yourself, also remember not to enjoy it. Sure, you've earned it. This is a cool accomplishment. You have accomplished something of real significance. Feel proud of yourself. But at the same time, do not feel overly high on that achievement. You're not at the finish line yet. You never will be, but just in general, I'd say keep a level head. Be steadfast. I think that's how you use the word. Don't get overly high, don't get overly low. Just say, you know what, this is a cool journey, this is a rough patch, and I'm going to try to work through it. Or, hey, you know what, I just accomplished something cool. I'm going to enjoy this. And then tomorrow, I'm going to get back to it and see if I can keep building upon this success that I just had. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. As you can see, I'm pretty pumped up. Today was, it started off pretty rough, actually. But I ended up being able to finally accomplish something without having my hand held. So I'm enjoying that. If you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you again soon. Pow!